right, so we're going to go a bit of a fast money round again with this one. I'm going to grab 3 shots that I like that showcase the outside of the venue crew hall, which we had our recent 5-day workshop at. Colors are a little bit different. This one is a little bit different, and arguably we are a little bit hot and overexposed and not quite focused fantastic on that one. This one I love. So what we might do, because this one's not focused fantastic, I love the vibe and the feel and the colors and everything of it, but because it's not focused fantastically, I think we might leave this one. Also, the colors on this one and the colors on this one are quite similar, whereas there's going to be a little bit of work in this one to bring it back. So let's delete that. Oh, not delete. Let's close that one, and we're going to roll with these two. Quite like these two. This one's a little bit darker than this one. So what we might do, I'm just going to match them both up a little bit. So I'm just going to darken this one back, just very rudimentary darkening, and this one I'm just going to brighten it just a little bit as well. Yes, we could do this different ways, could be much better, but for a bit of fast money, we just want to try and match them as best we can. Love the yellow in here, love the yellows and oranges and stuff in this one as well. Cool. So first thing I'm going to do, I do want to run retouch for me on this one. We'll run it on both, I think, just to make sure everything's right and clean up skin. So we'll do that now. If you want retouch for me, it will be in the description below. Okay, so our retouch is done. All right, so let's just have a bit of a look at this, because we can see that the skin tone has taken quite a bit of color out of his ears and lips. We just want to make sure that skin tone doesn't affect too much. All right, so we're going to bring it in. I'm going to add a layer mask to it, and we're going to use the black brush to rub out that layer mask, just to bring a bit of color back to him, a bit of color back to her fingernails, and probably her lips as well. Just want to make sure it didn't adjust her hair. Cool. All right. So I'm pretty good with how retouch has adjusted that. So cool. We're going to flatten that. Let's go to this one. All right. So our skin tone has taken a fair bit of color out of this one. So again, layer mask, black brush, and we're going to paint that color back in. Just to there. Doesn't appear to have taken anything out of her skin tone so much. Maybe just a bit on the shoulder. Actually, no, we'll put that back. All right, cool. I'm good with that. We've brought it back in, put a bit of color back into him, but his nose does look a little bit pink there, so I'm just going to take a bit of color out of that. And we're going to flatten that. Now there's a little bit of a dark sort of area on his nose there, which I think is just shadow from her. So that's a little bit distracting for me. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to lighten, just going to lighten that very softly. I'm going to pick the color. Oops, a bit too much. So we have to be a little bit careful with this, because it will lighten everything around as well. Pick that color. There we go. It has taken out a little bit of the texture, but it's the shot is from a fair distance away. All right, so going around the frame, just looking at what's here, if there's any distractions. Potentially this. I don't know what this is in the corner here. But I do love the yellow, and I'd love to see that yellow over here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this very roughly. I'm going to feather it by about 300 pixels, and I'm going to copy it, layer via copy, and then I'm going to flip it, flip horizontal, and then I'm going to drag it over this side. Now, it is going to look exactly the same as the other side, which we don't want. So let's make things a little bit different. And we'll make some little adjustments here so that it doesn't look the same. But as I said, the aim was to get a bit more of the yellow in. Cool. All right. Now, again, arguably there is plenty of ways we can do that, but disclaimer, I'm not a fine art editor. I'm not trained in that regard. All I'm doing is just regular day-to-day editing of my photos, of the photos that were taken at our recent 5-day workshop. They're not award-winning images by any stretch. It's just general everyday work, and I use AI a lot. So to color my photos, I don't do a lot of editing. I'll edit the photos I use for the blog, but that's about it. I use Imagen Ai to go through and do all the raw edits on my photos. So if you want Imagen, link will be in the description. You can get a discount, not a discount, you can get free edits with my code. And I also use, as you saw, Retouch for me. An incredible AI tool, saves me heaps of time on the photos that I do edit. And again, you can get that down below for 20% off at checkout. And I just edit the stuff that I would post up on social media and stuff day to day. And for all of my other editing work, I have an external editor who I engage to do pretty much everything else. So there's not a lot that I do personally, but the stuff that I do work with, I want to have a bit of fun with. So as I said, not a fine art editor in any stretch. Don't claim to be, just general day-to-day stuff. I want to help you to make your process a bit quicker and just show you that you don't need all the bells and whistles. You don't need the presets and all the other stuff. Like, just clean, well-lit, beautiful, bold, vibrant color will remain timeless. That's my message. So we're going to add a layer mask here, and what I'm going to do is with my black brush, set at normal at, let's go 100%. I'm going to make sure that there's no of that layer remaining on her or on him. All right. I might even just take that little bit out there. Cool. So that, the shot originally was shot between or through leaves. Now we've just added to that and taken away whatever it was, this black thing on the side here, and added a bit more yellow to it, which I kind of like. So I'm going to flatten that. Now there is a few little shadows here, like her eyes are a little bit dark. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to my trusty dodge and burn, and I'm going to brighten up her eyes a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy with this. We're just going to go to like 30%, and I just don't want any darkness or anything in her eyes. So we're going to go white brush to paint it in, 30%, and just going to brighten that up a little bit. Brighten that one up a little bit. Just brighten here up a touch, and maybe just a little bit forward and everything. There we go. Cool. So that's brightened her up a little bit. We don't really need to do anything with him. I'm pretty good with how he looks. So yep, I'm good with that. I'm just going to flatten that. Now let's check on the other one. So very similar colors. We're not shooting through anything with this one, which I'm okay with. Just gonna have a look at the frame and see if there's anything we need to fix, like this leaf here. Obviously it's a tree, but it's a little bit distracting because it's the only thing in the frame that's not part of the background. So what I'm going to do is content aware fill that. We'll get rid of that. And then we're left with a nice sort of blurry out of focus background and our couple having fun and focus fairly well in the foreground. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I know it might be controversial, but this little bit of chin here is only because she's got her head down in relation to her body, and that's the only reason that causes that. I want her to love the photo, and I don't want her to critique herself at all. If you look at him, I think I'm okay here. I might just pull a little bit out of here because I want them both to love the photo. They don't need to have this done if they were sort of directed with their chins up a little bit more. It doesn't need to be done. It's only because their chins are down. But I do want them to love the photo and love how they look in the photo and not critique themselves. So they're probably going to be watching this. So Darcy and Matt, I'm going to just take this out just a little bit. If I was to ever do this, I would never share this with anyone, with the couple or anything like that. But all I'm going to do is just take out just a little bit, just so that no one is too self-conscious or anything like that. Because love you guys and don't want you to judge yourselves or anything like that. So we're not changing the body shape in any way, shape or form. It is still them. I'm just taking away any criticism that they might have of themselves or anything like that. So there we go. Again, not a fine art editor by any stretch, but just want to make sure that they look as amazing as they possibly can and they're happy with it. So with this one, I'm gonna go the image pop route with this one a little bit because the other one that's going to match with is a little bit darker and potentially doesn't need the image pop. I just want to match them a little bit better, so we're just going to add that image pop in at about 60%, which cool, I'm happy with. If we look at this one, they're very similar, pretty well matched there now. Excuse me. All right, so because we've run retouch, for me over these, we don't really need any skin softening. They're not super duper sharp in this because there is a bit of movement there, so I'm not too concerned with that one. Looking at this one here, again, not razor sharp here either. May have just been the lens, the settings, just because the photographer was shooting through something, but not crazy sharp. But what I am going to do is I'm going to brighten her eyes a little bit. So I have an action for this. All right, so we're just going to go in, and there's a faint catch light in the eye here, nothing in this one. So I'm not going to go too crazy with this either. I'm going to set it to 100%. So white brush 100% to paint it in, and then I'm just going to paint this in, brighten it just a little bit. So you're not really going to be able to see too much of that. So it's a little bit brighter there if you look at her right eye. What about this one? No, nothing we really need to do with that. So I'm going to leave that eye brightening there where it is. Going to leave her skin stuff where it is. So I don't want to change the overall colors of these too much, but I am going to try my slight pink bubble tea. Cool, like that. That just gives the colors a little bit of a different sort of vibe. They're still quite true to life. Let's run the same thing here. It's a little bit brighter, so we'll just knock that back a touch. Cool. I'm happy with both of those, how they look. Once again, this is fast money, guys. I don't want you to be spending hours and hours editing just general everyday photos, because that is a waste of your time. you can be out building your business instead of sitting in front of the computer. So finally, I do want to draw your attention to the center of the frame a little bit with these. With this one, there's quite a lot of yellow going on. So I'm going to grab my random vignette that I have written myself, and I'm going to select... no, I had the wrong tool then. I had the brush tool. I need the lasso tool. And just roughly select, run that, and that's going to darken back the outsides. Just going to grab the eraser for this layer and just rub out just a little bit, just for a little bit of brightness. Make sure that they're at the center of the frame. Cool, I'm very happy with that. Let's go to this one. Same deal again. So because you've got this part in the middle here, we need to quite strategically select, that and around them. So I'm going to select them, and we're also going to come up in here and select that. All right, let's see where the dust settles on this. Cool, that looks good. So it's darkened the background back a little bit. Let's have a look at the other one. Yeah, this one's maybe a little bit darker in the background now, so let's reduce the opacity of that luminosity layer vignette around them, and I'm going to grab my eraser and I'm just going to rub out their faces, just to make sure that all the body parts are all good with no vignette on them. Happy with that. File, save. And guys, there's not really too much more. We might try this softening one. Yeah, cool. Love how that looks. And let's do it on this one too. Yep, love how that looks. So now we just need to go through and rub out our subjects, or erase our subjects out of that. So it's in a layer mask. So we're going to go black brush. I'm going to go 100%. And we're going to rub them out. So it's leaving the background as the soften, more contrast, a little bit deeper, richer colors. Cool, I like that. We turn that on and off. Let's make the colors a bit darker and a bit richer. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's close that. And with this one, just want to bring the color back, or take the contrast and stuff out of this. And I really like how that looks too. So cool, I'm happy with that. So guys, there's our two photos. Fast money, fairly quick. I love how they both look, and you don't need to spend too much time on them. So we're going to save this one, and I'm going to save this one, and we're done. Thanks for watching.